Week one of the regular season has come and gone, and it was one hell of a weekend. What's up, everyone? In the studio alongside Kevin Brown, I'm Brandon Simpson. This is the Purple Huddle Podcast. Joining us today, we have a special guest, Durp. Durp is from my NFL Picks League, where he came in last year as a rookie and won the whole damn thing. So clearly he understands the assignment. Durp, who's your team, and what are your quick thoughts about what we saw in the NFL opening weekend?
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I think we saw some really, really good football going on, and a lot of sloppy football going on at the same time.
Oh yeah, them kickers, right? Kevin, how about the first week of football for the regular season for you?
Oh, he took my thunder when I was saying a lot of sloppy football. 17 missed kicks in the first week between field goals and extra points.
Yeah, we have one guy that ended up on the waiver list.
Yeah,
we'll talk about him a little bit later as well. All right, Kevin. So our Ravens, they're 1-0 after a slow start against the Jets. We left East Rutherford with a 24-9 victory. Our run game struggled, mainly the offensive line. That really raised my blood pressure on Sunday. But the defense showed up after giving up a few big early runs.
I'm not really stressing it too much. And I'll tell you why, because this is the first time they've actually played together as a cohesive unit. They had played together all the preseason. You know, they're still not at full capacity on the regular season, or you're all pro left tackle. So, I mean, if they struggle, if this goes into week 4, week 5, week 6, then I'll have a concern. But if they come out and hammer the ball next week, I'm not really going to be, my blood pressure is really not going to raise that much. What worries me is the injury bug.
True.
Because that's what hit us hard. I mean, we're already down. Stanley's barely practicing, and now we lose Juwan James. Done for the season with a torn left Achilles. You know, you had Peters, who's, late practice, and now his backup Fuller, ACL, he suffers.
Yep.
So after that happened, my concern was like, who is going to be next man up?
Okay.
And please don't let this be a things to come like last year.
Definitely. So you aren't concerned that the whole offensive line early on in the run game looked like Alejandro Villanueva in the pass game last year? You aren't concerned with that? Because I am.
I'm not concerned with that week 1. Like I said, week 1, I'm not concerned. Like I said, we get into week 4, week 5, and they still can't generate a push. Then my blood pressure is going to raise, because now you've had time. You're learning to gel. You've had enough time to gel with your teammates. Now you need to get in there, get that punch, get that push. Basically like Vinny Serrato used to say, grind your legs in and move that ass. And if you can't do it, well, then you're on the sidelines. Right, but the only problem is who's going to take the place.
Got you. Sorry about that, Kevin. Durp, your mother's a Ravens fan, right?
Yeah, big Ravens fan. She started getting into football. I don't know, probably like when I was in 10th grade or so, and then she decided she liked Ray Lewis and Ray Rice, actually. And then about a couple years later is when y'all win your first Super Bowl. So she's your good luck charm.
Got you. We'll take it. So how about that 55-yard touchdown to Rashad Bateman, y'all?
Yes.
Pretty pass.
Can I say something about that? This is just something I saw, and it's just something I want to do. You watch Kyler Murray do the sidearm passes. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, "Oh, look, that was a great pass." You got Patrick Mahomes do it all the time. Okay, the other guy, he does it one time, and they're like, "Oh, look, he dropped his elbow too much."
Oh, it's always somewhere, LJ. They always got criticism.
It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
They're great passes when it's those two guys, but then when it comes to LJ, oh my God, he's dropping his elbow too much on that pass. Like, Jesus, can the guy get a break?
No, I was just going to say, I was arguing with some guys on Instagram a couple of days ago about defending Lamar. They were talking about, this and that, and he's not a good thrower. And I was like, his MVP season, he threw for 36 touchdowns, 3,000 yards, Yep. And then people are like, oh, 36 isn't a lot. But a lot of people forget that year that led the season.
Exactly.
That led the league. So, I mean,
he threw for over 5,000 yards in college.
Right. It doesn't matter what he does. They're just going to always call him a running back. But we know the truth.
Exactly. All right. So on the other side of the field, the Jets, they lost 13 straight games in the month of September. They'll try to redeem themselves next week as they take on our division rivals, the Cleveland Browns, over there in Ohio. And Baltimore will return to the bank against Miami. All right, Durp, your division rivals, the Washington Commanders, they're celebrating a big win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people felt like Washington is a quarterback away from making some noise. So what do you think about their chances this year and how they pull this one out?
See, when I look at the Commanders right now, much like the Colts, they're famous for filling the position with C and D tier quarterbacks, and that's exactly what Wentz is, in my opinion. He was with the Colts last year, and those, the same Jags that they just beat are the reason that they didn't make it to the playoffs last year. They only beat the Jags by 5, and they almost let them come back because they went scoreless in the third. Meanwhile, the Jags scored 9 and then 10 in the fourth, so they were outscored 19-14 in the second half by the Jags. The game was close, but I think given a little bit more time, I think they would have choked it eventually.
I really like Jacksonville this year. I really like their odds in the NFC South. I mean, the AFC South. Call me crazy. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to make a big jump this year. I like Christian Kirk coming over. He had 6 receptions, 117 yards. They had multiple very long drives. They just didn't capitalize on that. On the other side, Carson Wentz, I still don't trust the man. He had 2 interceptions. He got 313 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had some very good plays, but I still don't trust him down the line. And I'm a little concerned with Antonio Gibson. He didn't give the ball away in this game, but he's been known to put the ball on the ground. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. It was the Jaguars, the worst team in the league last year.
Right.
But we'll see with them moving forward. Kevin, what about you?
I'm concerned with their defense, if you want me to be totally honest with you. They lose their starting D tackle Fedarian Mathis for the year with a knee injury. They don't really have anybody in their stats that can really back up what he's done for them. And as far as quarterback, I like that C and D because they come in seeing their future, and it's like, damn, not here.
Yeah.
But no, it's I hate to say it, but it's Jacksonville. And you can only play the teams that are in front of you.
Yep.
But they beat the worst team in football last year, a team they should have beat. Now you do it against the Cowboys, you do it against the Eagles, then we can talk.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know with the Cowboys, man. That's gonna be a rough one this year.
Yeah, they got some holes to fill right now.
Yeah. They got really big hole to fill for at least a couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So Kevin's Bears, they are who we thought they were. Chicago opened up the 2022 season at Soldier Field with a 19-10 win against the San Francisco 49ers, fresh off an NFC Championship appearance. Kevin.
I would love to say it was because the Bears, are that good, but they're not. I love what they did. But did you guys get a chance to see Soldier Field?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Slip and slide.
Yeah.
They literally had 2 inches of rain on the field before game time, but they had a squeegee off the field.
Yep.
So when you're slipping and sliding like that, people are gonna make mistakes, and I'm just glad it was my team on top, but it's just one, and I'm gonna give it to him. And I do like Eberflus. I do like what he has. See him doing. He has him playing good football. Let's see if we can stack 2, 3, 4, because the Bears are infamous for winning 1, losing 3.
Yeah.
Winning 1, losing 2. So, but I'll take it. I'll take it for now. It's really all I got for that one. I'm still in shock that they won that game. As much as I love my Bears and I'm a lifelong suffering Bears fan, I'm still shocked.
How about you, Durp?
Let me ask you this, Kevin. You believe in Justin Fields?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I do. Okay. Anything's better than. I tell you, I like to make Trubisky, and like I told him, I said, and I did not like the head coach that was there last year.
Yeah,
he was Matt Nagy, and he was so great I can't even remember his name anymore. I still blame him for ruining Trubisky And the proof is in the pudding if you look what he did with the Steelers. I think that was to Trubisky we could have seen with the Bears all year, but Nagy, it's a crap head coach. It's a crap, from top to bottom. They're finally starting to get away with the hiring of Eberflus. They still need the GM's finally going to sit down after 46 years, which he needed to sit down 41 years ago. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, at least both of us can agree on one thing. We don't have Andy Dalton starting for us anymore.
Yes, thank God.
We had to go through that too.
Yeah, the Andy Dalton. Yeah, when they signed him, I'm like saying, and they wonder why Chicago can't have nice things. And they make stupid moves like this.
Yeah, I think a big shout out goes to y'all's defense too, because I was just watching the thing and it said that y'all had blitzed. You only had to blitz Justin Fields 7 times.
Yeah.
Out of those 7 times, he only completed 1 pass for -2 yards. So y'all were getting pressure on him all day, just rushing him with 4. So that goes a big way, especially he's a mobile quarterback with it being wet out there.
Oh yeah.
So your defense definitely deserves a shout out for that.
Yeah, deep's never been the problem for me. My problem has always been the offense.
Yeah,
it's always been very, very vanilla at best. And then everybody's like, "Oh, deep, Vince can't hold them." But when your defense is playing 65-70% of the plays.
Yeah, your rushing game should be pretty good too with Monty, and you got my boy Khalil Herbert from Virginia Tech back there too.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited about Herbert. I'm very excited to see what he can do. But again, it's coming to our offensive line get that push because they haven't in the past. So see what they can do now.
All right, guys. So Maryland football is in full swing, and that means it's time for touchdown Terps. Kevin, do your thing.
After failing to throw for a touchdown in game 1, Tonga Viola came out with a vengeance in the Terps' 56-21 victory over the Charlotte 49ers. Yes, I understand it's a winless football team. Again, you can only play who's in front of you. Tonga Viola went 27 for 31, 391 yards, 4 touchdowns. When your backup quarterback, Billy Edwards, goes 3 for 3 with 33 yards and 1 touchdown, you got a day going. Leading rusher was Kobe McDonald, 4 rushes, 61 yards. Your 2 leading receivers was Joshua Jones for 6 catches, 71 yards, and Jacob Copeland with 4 catches for 110 yards. Now, going over to the 49ers side, you had 3 quarterbacks playing that game. The starter, Xavier Williams, went 19 for 35, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. Backup Trexler Ivy went 9 for 26, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. I didn't even bother putting down the third quarterback because they basically was running. They were basically a glorified running back. Leading rusher was Shadrick Bird, 11 rushes for 38 yards. Elijah Spencer, 4 catches, 98 yards, and Grant Dubois, 8 catches, 73 yards. All right, and that's your touchdown Terps report for today. I am Kevin Brown. All right, Durp. Pittsburgh shocked a lot of people after going into Cincinnati and leaving with a 23-20 win. I understand you're not a big fan of the Steelers, but give us your insight on the contest.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I just never been a big fan of the Steelers. I always feel like they're hyped and they never really do much with it. I know that's a lot coming from a Cowboys fan, but I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan, a big Najee fan. Just something about him, But as far as that game goes, there's a lot of people that are talking about like two things: Joe Burrow and his turnovers, and T.J. Watt with his injury. But what's not really being discussed is that even though the Steelers were able to force 5 turnovers from the Bengals, the Bengals still had 2 separate chances with field goal attempts to win the game.
Exactly. Mitch
came out, he didn't throw any interceptions, but Burrow threw 5 picks and he still outpassed Mitch by almost 100 yards.
Hey, don't talk about Kevin's boy. All right.
Hey, but hey, I can't say nothing. What have I said all year about Burrow, Brand?
Oh, he loves Joey Burrow. So
I know.
I'll get right back to you. But Kevin, you had to been, in shambles on Sunday. You had one of your quarterbacks on one side of the field and the other quarterback.
Oh, it was rough. It was rough. I had 4 quarterbacks playing on Sunday. Burrow, Trubisky, Fields, and Lamar.
Okay. That's a good Good little bunch.
Semi.
I'm just glad I didn't start burning my fantasy league because that would have been
Yeah, how about Minka Fitzpatrick, guys? He had that interception, that pick six in the first quarter to get the Steelers on the board early, and then right at the end of the game, he forced overtime with that blocked extra point. How do y'all feel about this Steelers defense?
I mean, at the end of the day, they had 7 sacks. I mean, the O-line is still a problem for the Bengals, no matter how much they try to fix it up. But at the end of the day, they still had 7 sacks. TJ Watt played his mind out before he got hurt. He was putting up crazy numbers. So I feel like the Steelers, no matter who's on that defense, they always overachieve. You know, they always play great. So you can always expect them to fight at least.
Kevin, the Steelers have won 3 straight games over Cincinnati. How do they constantly get it done against the Bengals?
They just have their number. I mean, with Claypool, Najee Harris, Cincinnati just can't stop them. It's one of their things. It's one you can't really explain it. It just has their number. It's just like with Aaron Rodgers with the Bears. He's 7 straight years, and the Bears have yet to beat him. You know, it's just something about one team having another team's number. I mean, how can you not? When Minka Fitzpatrick has 14 tackles, 10 solo. Miles Jack has 10 tackles, 6 solo. Even Alex Highsmith, 9 tackles, 6 solo. You would think, okay, maybe we should think about maybe double teaming one of these guys. But what then you do? But then you got TJ Watt that comes in. You got Terrell Edmonds comes in. It's just no matter what they do, somebody else is going to step up and burst through that line. You know, I mean, we're talking about the defending AFC champs, but it's just some way Pittsburgh's got their number.
Yeah, and like Durp said, that offensive line just has issues right now. It doesn't seem like they've done well. They tried to, make some moves in the offseason to get some people in there, but it definitely didn't look good on Sunday for sure.
I mean, you're in trouble when Joe Burrow is your second leading rusher.
And a lot of things. Another thing a lot of people aren't talking about is a lot of people forget that Joe Burrow had an appendectomy in the offseason or something like that.
Yeah.
So I bet you he hasn't had a lot of time to play behind this offensive line.
Definitely.
They haven't had a lot of time to mesh. So they're still one of the best young teams in the league. But like you said, the Steelers just have their number at the end of the day.
True. So the Steelers will open at home on Sunday. They'll host Bill Belichick, Mac Jones, and the New England Patriots, while Cincinnati will travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. All right, everyone, we had a tie in week 1. Indy and Houston battled on Sunday, and neither team did enough to win in the end. How about the debut of your former head coach, Lovie Smith, and his decision to punt late in overtime when he really had nothing to lose?
Didn't like the decision at all.
Me neither.
Like you said, there was nothing to lose, but that's just a coach having to have the confidence in his defense. He basically had no confidence in his offense to make that punt. But you got to realize, Lovey's been out of the league, guys, for about 7-8 years. At least out of the program.
Yeah, head coaching, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get his head on right. But did I agree with it? No. Not when you have O.J. Howard having 2 receptions, 38 yards. You got Brandon Cooks, 7 for 82.
He had a solid game.
Yeah, David Mills was pretty much averaging 6.5 yards per throw. Your rushers are averaging 3-4 yards per attempt. You needed to just grind it down, get the first down, keep going, and then try to kick the field goal. Because, like you said, you have nothing to lose. Worst comes to worst, you run out of time. And you ended a tie anyway, which is exactly what they did. But why, when your offense is clicking, put your defense out on the field and risk injury? I just didn't agree with the decision, especially since Matt Ryan already put up 352 yards on him. So he's already he's the first thing he's going to do. He's going to come. He's already passed 50 times. He's already put up 350. He's already put up almost 300 yards when he's going into overtime. He's averaging 70 yards. Cap, you want to keep him on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he could have won it. He could have done it. Yeah, well, he should have, would have, could have. Keep him on the bench if you can.
So, Durp, you've been critical about your coaching staff down there in Dallas, and of course the Texans are right there in Texas as well. How do you feel? What do you feel about this decision? I think that it was dumb. I think that it was 4th and 3 from pretty much midfield, less than a minute. I would have gone for it. A young team, nothing to lose. First game of the season, you going up against the leading rusher in Jonathan Taylor and the team that a lot of people are picking to come out of the AFC South. What would you have done if you were Lovie Smith and the Texans?
Oh, first of all, thank you for that shot at my my coaching staff. It's always welcome. For me, y'all pretty much just you said it. You had a chance to get a first down. Third and 1 at your opponent's 47.
Mm-hmm.
You give the ball to, of all the players on the field, this is not to throw any shot at Rex Burkhead, but of all the players on your team, you give the ball to Rex Burkhead. He loses 2 yards, so now you're at the 49. And for me, there's no way that you punt that football. Like you got a chance to upset a division rival. You're not even supposed to be in this game. Everybody picked you to lose this game. And like you said, what do you have to lose? Drop back and try for a slant, or throw it, do something. You don't punt that ball. In no situation do you punt that ball. And like Kevin said, at worst, what happens? You end in a tie, and that's what happened anyway. So I don't understand it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're halfway through the show, just in time for those halftime headlines with Brandon. Brandon, what you got for it, bud?
All right, guys. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, he's out 6 to 8 weeks following an injury sustained on Sunday Night Football. But owner Jerry Jones said Tuesday there's a possibility Prescott could be back in just 4 weeks. Our Cowboys insider will have more on this in just a moment. 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell, he will spend the next several weeks rehabbing an MCL sprain. He got injured Sunday afternoon against the Bears. Mitchell had 6 carries for 41 yards before he exited the game. Doctors, they're keeping a close eye on quarterback Mac Jones. The second-year starter was suffering from back spasms in Sunday's opener against Miami. Jones was beat up quite a bit, and he was sacked twice, but hit several other times. Keenan Allen, the Chargers wide receiver, is unlikely to play Thursday night against Kansas City. This comes after he suffered a hamstring injury in the win against the Raiders on Sunday. It's looking like reigning Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, could return sooner rather than later. The Steelers defender tweeted out yesterday the message, "I'll be back." Watt tore his pectoral in the win over Cincinnati. It's looking like he will be out, believe, about 6 weeks. And the Colts, they're making changes to their special teams unit. The team waived kicker Rodrigo Blankenship on Tuesday. The veteran missed a game-winning 42-yard kick in overtime and also placed 2 kickoffs out of bounds. All right, speaking of America's team, for the second straight year, Durp's Cowboys lost in the opener against the Bucks, but this time it hurt, literally and figuratively.
Well, like they say, that's all she wrote, folks. For me, that's how I feel. The Jones family has single-handedly self-sabotaged this team. They let La'el Collins walk. They knew this O-line was going to be one injury away from being one of the worst units in the league. And the wide receiver core, you're just hoping, since you slapped an 88 on CeeDee Lamb's back, that he's going to carry this entire team, where that's just not how things work. Without Dak, we were maybe going to win the game, maybe not. But even when Dak was in there, he wasn't looking well. He was throwing in a double, triple coverage. He was getting pressured every time he dropped back. Zeke was averaging, I want to say, like 5.5 yards a touch. So of course, in the Cowboys, we gave him 10 touches, because that's what Kellen Moore does. Refused to give the ball to Tony Pollard, even though he's one of our most electrifying players. But with that gone, they're saying 6 to 8 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks, whatever it may be. Things are not looking good. That's all I know.
Cooper Rush? No.
Yeah.
No.
Super Bowl.
You don't have any faith in Cooper?
He was good for that fill-in game against the Vikings. His whole family was there, and it was a great story. But he's good for a fill-in here or there, but not when you have the games coming up that we've got coming up. I have zero faith.
All I have to say is Mike McCarthy. 2 words, just 2 words when it comes to Dallas. Well, 3 words: Mike McCarthy and why.
I've been saying that since we got him, man.
Yeah. I just, I mean, how do you have Ezekiel Elliott only getting 10 carries for 52 yards?
Tony Pollard, they ain't feed him either.
Yeah. Pollard didn't even see what he saw. He saw 6 for 8.
Yeah.
I mean, Is Tampa Bay's defense that good, or is your offensive line just not getting that push?
Both. It's
Both.
both actually, yeah, because they were running stunts and things that we just couldn't stop, and we had Tyler Smith out there.
Mhm.
He was getting bull rushed and spun on and everything. He held his own, but it's his first start ever, and like you said with Tony Pollard, for some reason, when Kellen Moore wants to give him the ball, instead of a stretch play here or a toss play here, it's got to be a double, triple reverse where he's
Yeah.
already got three people in his face. Like Kellen Moore is
Before-
just trying to be way too fancy with his plays, and it's just not working for us.
Well, I tell you what, I'll tell you one guy I was impressed with. Well, of course, CD Lamb, but that's because he should CD Lamb. He's the man. But Noah Brown. I mean, I didn't even know who this guy was. But 5 receptions, 68 yards. He averaged 13.6 an attempt. I mean,
Yeah.
he impressed me. I didn't even know who this kid was, and he's running up and down the field on Tampa. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, he's been on the team for quite a while. People always get him confused with CeeDee Lamb because they look very similar. But he's been on the team for a while. He's just always been buried under the depth chart. And now that we got no-name players suiting up for us, he's getting a chance. And I'm glad to see he's getting a chance, to be honest with you.
I can't tell you what I think you guys started making in that kid. Just from an outsider's point of view, I would try to keep him hidden because I think you got just more important. I think you got all pro wide receiver to make it in that kid.
Okay.
Just an outsider point of view. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Dallas fan, but
Right.
yeah,
Hey.
I think you guys got to go all pro. I think you guys got something in that kid.
Well, I hope you were right. That's all I can say. Because we could use it.
I bet. Well, staying in the division. Brandon, your Giants head coach Brian Daboll pulled the trigger, went for 2 and won on Sunday in Nashville. How do you feel about your Giants?
Hesitant, man. They face a Titans team that I'm not too impressed with, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Besides Derrick Henry, I mean, we all know Tannehill is like night and days. You get one good game from him, then you get about 3 bad ones. So he had a decent game, but they don't have a real threat at wide receiver. But on the Giants side of the ball, for Saquon Barkley to outrun Derrick Henry was really saying something. Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 82 yards. Barkley was just all over the Titans defense, 18 carries, 164 yards and a touchdown. He also had that 2-point conversion with 106 left, the one you just talked about with Brian Daboll. But Daniel Jones, we can't be too confident when this guy, has yet to prove himself. I honestly don't think he's the guy. I think they should have moved on this past offseason, but, they had a lot of money invested. Lost a fumble, interception, sacked 5 times. And then right in the fourth quarter before they had that final drive to get back into the game, Daboll went over the sidelines and really fired into them, and they got that drive going and got downfield. They were shut out in the first half, typical Giants football, overcame the 13-point halftime deficit. But I am proud of them. It's their first win on opening day since 2016. Each team in the NFC East won on Sunday. How do you feel about the Giants right now?
I mean, a lot of things that you touched on, really. Like, you could literally see the moment that Daboll won over that team when he said, "Hey, y'all want to go for 2?" And they said, "Yeah, we want to do it." Saquon gets hit in the backfield and then shakes it off, scores a touchdown. You got Sterling Shepard screaming in Daboll's face.
Yeah.
Like you could really see the moment. And like to touch on what you said again, when Daniel Jones dropped back, stared the receiver down the entire time through the interception. And then he goes and sulks on the bench, and then Daboll comes over and just lays into him. And it wasn't
seeing that.
Yes, and it wasn't like a like so much of a like you're stupid, why'd you do that? It was more or less like we depend on you, we need you, like better than that. You know what you did wrong. And even as a Cowboys fan, for some reason seeing Saquon being good is just good. Like you like it. You got to root for the guy,
Yeah. So Kevin, our former defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, is out there. Did you see a change in the defense and whatever else you were going to say?
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell Wink had his hands on that defense because you saw a lot of what we used to do, a lot of man up, a lot of zone read defense. You could definitely tell he had his hands on that defense and they also looked like they were having fun, which in years past they just looked like they struggled. It looked like they were already out of place, and he had them doing the right job at the right time, which for some reason he lost track of when he was here with us. But my thing, I'm going back to what you were saying about what Durp was saying about Saquon. Remember, Saquon, he had a nasty injury in his leg, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Yeah, a couple of them. So I mean, seeing him coming him back, going 18 for 164, averaging 9.1 an attempt, that gives me a lot of hope for J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
And hopefully seeing him when he comes back doing the same thing. But my question to you guys is, do you think that team won because of Daniel Jones, or do you think they won in spite of Daniel Jones?
The second one.
Exactly.
In spite of Daniel Jones?
Yes.
Definitely.
So if Daboll decides that Daniel Jones is this guy, how does he get him on? How does he get everybody on board with this kid? What does he need to do?
I don't know, man.
know.
This guy, I think since he's came in the league, nobody has more turnovers than him, right?
Yeah.
And my thing has always been Duke is a basketball team, right?
Yeah.
So why in the 1st
Mhm.
round do you take a quarterback?
Yeah,
from Duke?
good point.
It's never really made
I've
sense.
always thought about that too, those type of
Yeah.
things. too.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, like, if Brian Daboll comes in and says, "Look, Daniel Jones is their starter for the long haul," that if they won in spite of him, how did Daboll get everybody else on board and behind Jones? Is what I'm saying, or is that not even possible?
Go ahead, Derek.
They just declined his 5th-year option, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
I mean, unless he comes out and just starts balling out, I don't see that happening. But if somehow, some way,
I don't mean going future, like the future. I'm saying for this season.
For this season, okay.
Well, I'm not making a change. This is our guy for the season. I'm not making a change of quarterback. How's he getting everybody on board for this season to not sulk because of Jones being the quarterback? I'm not saying, I knew in the future he wasn't going to be because they declined the option. I'm just saying for this season alone.
All right. I mean, Brandon, this is your squad. So how would that happen?
I don't see it. I think, they just have nobody else right now. I know that heading into the season, they signed, was it Tyrod Taylor? And then he got banged up in preseason. I believe he's out for the year. And I think that Tyrod would have been putting some pressure on him, if not in the preseason, then definitely in the regular season. Tyrod's a capable starter, at least, short term, while they figure out who is going to be the next guy quarterback. I think his time is all about done there. And especially when you bring in Brian Daboll, a new head coach, he's established, was it Josh Allen up in Buffalo? Mm-hmm. Those coaches don't keep those quarterbacks generally when they get those new jobs going into the second year. So I don't see it. The best thing for the Giants right now is to run the ball. Clearly, that's the best thing for them. And they better hope that Wink Martindale don't fuck up the defense. In my opinion, he likes to send stupid ass corner blitzes all the fucking time.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: your future quarterback, is he on the team? Are you thinking free agency, or are you thinking draft?
Draft. I don't think they got anybody else behind them.
No. And like you said, Tyrod was there. Mm-hmm. And he would have applied some pressure. Shout out to another Virginia Tech player. he would have applied a little bit of pressure, but I don't see the quarterback or the future for the Giants being on the team.
Absolutely not right now.
No.
So you don't see them going after one, maybe a free agency.
I mean, it all depends on who's out there, really. I could see him pulling it, but also it depends on where they're going to draft at.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Daboll would rather develop a quarterback based off what he basically did with Josh Allen, because that was pretty much his project. Sean McDermott was a defensive coach, so you could say that all that credit that came out of Buffalo with Brian Daboll was true, because Sean McDermott, again, is a defensive coach.
Yes.
And he is a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. My love for Aaron Rodgers is real, but the Packers were destroyed by the Vikings at US Stadium. I'm going to ask you guys this in a second. Is it time to hit the panic button, or should we do what Mr. Rodgers once said and relax? I say relax. I think that the Packers will be just fine. Christian Watson I believe he's going to develop into a decent wide receiver. They were out. Lazard was out for that game. And the Vikings just have a stout defense. They were after Aaron Rodgers all game. I believe I can't remember if Bakhtiari was playing or not, but I know he's been banged up all preseason. So yeah, they have two good running backs. I think they'll be just fine. The Vikings did beat them last year as well in Minnesota divisional game. So they know, they know what they need to do to get after Aaron Rodgers and company. And we all knew it was going to take some time for this receiving core to develop and to get on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. It clearly showed. And, the Packers also lost last year, got blown out. So I was expecting them to lose a first or second game this year. They generally lose early on and then just start getting on long win streaks and ended up in the first seed in the NFC. But Durp, what do you think? I mean, you're familiar with the Packers.
Yeah, I think that was it early in the first quarter. Aaron Rodgers dropped back. He threw it to Christian Watson. He dropped it.
Exactly.
I think that play set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Because I think that right there showed the Vikings that these receivers are young. They're not ready to play with us just yet. And I think if he catches the game, I'm not saying that they win, but I think it would have been a different ball game. I don't think it would have been a complete wash the way that it was. Rodgers, he said they're going to start to hold these young guys accountable. They're going to have some patience with them, but I guarantee you that patience probably lasted to the plane ride for leaving out of there. And he's not he's always going to expect greatness and accountability from them. Like you said, Lazard wasn't playing, even though he's not Devontae Adams. When he comes back, he's got, he's played with Rodgers before, so that'll help. And like you said, again, they got beat up on by the Saints last year, the first game. Rodgers threw 2 picks. They played horrible. And then what happened? Rodgers is the MVP. They finished 13-4. This is what the Packers do. They make you think like, finally, we're done dealing with Aaron Rodgers, and then you're not.
Pack it up. He's done. It's time to put Rodgers send him out to pasture. Let's see what Jordan Love can do. That's what they're saying in Green Bay. That's exactly what they're saying in Green Bay. And you know what? They're wrong. Aaron Rodgers has no offensive help whatsoever. He has an offensive line that gives him an average of 1.94 seconds from snap to pass, so somebody's in his face. And the man still goes 22 for 34 for 195. Yeah. They got the crap kicked out of them game 1 last year. And like you said, they came back. Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he looks like somebody that probably sold your hubcaps off your car, but it's going to be fine. Now, I can guarantee you he's probably going to have them young rookie wide receiver down in that field catching passes until they throw up, because he's not going to with rookie mistakes. But nah, I think Aaron Rodgers has earned the right to say it. Just relax, we'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Yeah. I mean, he did get some repertoire in with some of them. You did have A.J. Dillon. He had 5 receptions, 46 yards. He averaged 9.2 and a 10. Romeo Doubs, he had 4 for 37, and Tanyan had 3 for 36. So once he got it going, he actually spread the ball around a lot. But yeah, they're probably all throwing in the towel in Green Bay and flipping out. Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, watch.
Yeah, I got to say, at one point during the season, I'm telling you, this Packers receiving core is going to be something to deal with. Once they start putting in Sammy Watkins, once they stop doing that, once Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs start, because they out of training camp, they were saying Romeo Doubs was that dude. Yeah. And I just found out not that long ago. I've been watching Christian Watson or whatever on TV, and I'm like, man, this guy is fast. This entire time, I'm thinking this dude's like 5'9". He's 6'4".
Oh wow. Yeah.
So Rodgers is going to take advantage of that eventually. Once they start clicking, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but the problem with Watkins is going to be, can he stay healthy long enough to finish an entire season?
Yeah.
Because it's like he'll get in there, make a couple of spectacular plays, and then he's gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Or he's gone for 2 weeks. And plus, this is against a rival. It is against Minnesota. A lot of people have Minnesota taking that division. They probably had Minnesota was probably all hyped up for it. It was their home opener. Rodgers like, yeah, okay, we'll give you this one, but you're not taking the crown from us.
Yeah, we'll see who has the last laugh.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you guys can bet on how many games, the over and under on how many games it takes for Dalvin Cook to get hurt. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can bet on that in Vegas is 6. Over under 6 games before Dalvin Cook is hurt. You can lay 2 to 10 odds, lay 200 win 1,000 win that in Vegas.
So Kirk Cousins had 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, and over half of that came from Justin Jefferson. Durp, what about this guy?
Justin Jefferson is
Sound like you speechless.
the best wide receiver in the league, in my opinion. I think Cooper Kupp's right there. Devontae Adams is still Devontae Adams, but it's week in and week out. You know, it's not Justin Jefferson's coming out and he's sputtering every once in a while. It's 1 week, a down week for Justin Jefferson is like 8 catches for 110 yards. You know, That's a down week for Justin Jefferson. Something about these, I don't know what they're giving these dudes up in the LSU. Yeah. But when they come into the league, they don't miss a beat.
And that good old fashioned Creole jambalaya.
All right, so Green Bay will try to rebound. They'll be on Sunday Night Football against Kevin's Bears. And the Vikings, they'll head to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, in a Monday Night Football doubleheader. All right, so Russ's heartbreak. Monday Night Football featured Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the booth and an upset on the field for the Broncos. Geno Smith had a smooth game in his Seattle Seahawks debut. Tell us what happened in the end, Kevin.
A really dumb call that I'll never get over. How do you have Russell Wilson, ball in hand, you opt to let the time run down and go for a 64-yard field goal? You know Russell Wilson was on that sideline going, Jesus Christ, it's the Super Bowl all over again. You know he was. I mean, the man went 29 for 42, 341 yards. He's averaging 8.1 yards in the attempt. Give him the ball. Let him swing. Let him see if he can get one downfield. If he can't, worse comes to worse, what happens? The clock stops. They go for the field goal anyway. That they couldn't get the rushing attack going. The receivers, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. When you have 2 fumbles, when you're in your opponent's end zone twice, and you fumble the football both times, you don't deserve to win that game. Yeah, I mean, come on. When's the last time we've seen Melvin Gordon fumble or Javonte Williams fumble in the end zone?
True.
And they both seem to do it in one game.
Yeah.
It just was not Russ's. It just was not going to be a good homecoming for Russ.
For me, pretty much everything he said. Terrible clock management. For you to have Russell Wilson and you have like a minute something left, and you don't call a timeout to figure out what we're gonna do. You let like 34 seconds run off the clock.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just to kick the ball. And I seen a thing. It was saying that like Russell Wilson in his career, for like 4th and 5 or less, it's like a 49% chance that he gets it. Mm-hmm. And right now, there's a 6% chance to make a kick over 62 yards. And not to mention how the kickers have been kicking to begin with. Also, like hats off to Geno, how he played. I don't think anybody expected him to come out there. I think he started like 17 for 18 at one point.
Yeah,
he came out there and did his thing. So definitely hats off to Geno, and you could really tell that they were talking about him playing behind Eli and Phillip Rivers and even Russell Wilson, and you can tell he's really soaked up a lot of that.
Yep.
And the way he came out there, he seemed poised and ready to go.
All right, so Seattle will open up their division play this weekend against San Francisco in Santa Clara, while the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson will have their home debut. All right, how about a quick look at some of the other games from the past week? The Bills destroyed the Rams 31-10 in the NFL kickoff game. Saints came from behind to beat the Falcons 27-26 in Atlanta. The Eagles held off the Lions in the Motor City 38-35. Miami rookie head coach Mike McDaniel beat New England and the OG Bill Belichick 20-7 in South Beach. Baker Mayfield and his Panthers took the L against his former squad, the Browns. Final score was 26-24. No Tyreek, no problem for Mahomes as the Chiefs cruised past the Cardinals 44-21, and Justin Herbert tossed 3 touchdowns in the Chargers win over the Raiders 24-19. Kevin, first, which of these games caught your attention the most?
Honestly, Miami beating New England. I wasn't expecting a rookie head coach going there with Bill when he's known to take away your top, what you do best and go in there and beat them. Not only beat them, but to beat them by 13. But one game that you didn't mention, that I tell you that caught my eye. How about Detroit giving Philly a run for their money?
Yep.
38-35. I mean, Jared Goff, of all people, 21 for 37 for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Where's he been since the Super Bowl days?
In hiding.
Exactly.
It's that Dan Campbell effect, man.
Yeah, and you got DeAndre Swift, 15 carries, 144 yards. I mean, and then for what kicked you right in the butt, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 receptions, 64 yards. It's like that game to me was more impressive than anything because you have a team in the Lions who people basically picked to be cellar dwellers, coming within a field goal and putting up 14 in the fourth quarter to come within a field goal way of beating the Eagles, or at least tying them and going into overtime.
And they were ahead early in the game too.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
But what really, I guess, kind of put the icing on the cake is Philly rushed for over 200 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was ball control, and they still came back. So
yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. It no matter what Philly did, I mean, Detroit was right on their heels.
Yep. Durp, which of these games caught your attention?
For me, it was the same, like the first one that he picked, the Dolphins and the Patriots, because Tua is now 4-0 against the Bills, against the Patriots now. He's now 4-0 against the Patriots. Never lost against them. And the Mike McDaniels looked every bit of what we thought he was going to be. He came in, said, "Oh, 4th and 7, no problem. We'll go for it." And here lately, that's what a lot of these young coaches are doing. It doesn't matter. They put that trust in their team and they go for it. And I think the league might have honestly messed up and let Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill be on the same team because I don't know how you stop that. To be honest with you.
I mean, y'all, I respect y'all's picks there, but y'all both picked. Y'all know Miami owns the Patriots down in South Beach.
That is very true. Even when Brady was there.
Yes.
This is true.
Miami Miracle.
So y'all weren't the Bills going into SoFi and just putting it on the Rams didn't raise any red flags or nothing with y'all?
No, when we were making the picks in the group chat, I didn't say anything else. I said, give me Buffalo.
Yep.
Because I knew Josh Allen, since that coin flip, Josh Allen's been waiting to be back on the field and just start doing his thing. He looked a little rough in the beginning, but
plus they're talking about Matt Stafford needing elbow surgery, possibly Tommy John surgery, and his rotator, and he injured his rotator cuff start. I wasn't expecting much from him in that game.
I didn't think it would be that wide of a spread at the end. They got close. It was 10-10 at one point, and then Buffalo just kicked in the high gear. So I think that game caught my attention the most.
I tell you what impressed me the most is the fact that Buffalo shut down the reigning defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Did he get any sacks in that game? I can't remember if he did or if he didn't.
I don't think so. I think I may have only heard Aaron Donald's name maybe once.
I think that's what I was thinking. They shut down a guy that's last year seemed like he was unstoppable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Rams could end up losing next week too.
Yeah,
they go 0-2, and then you're going to see.
They got Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's was no slouch to speak of.
Yeah, Mariota. I mean, he really impressed me.
Yeah. Now
so they did what the Falcons do, and they choked the lead away.
Yeah.
let me ask you this: if Rams go 0-2, should they worry? Are you thinking Super Bowl hangover?
Oh, I think they're done at that point.
Or you think they're done at that point?
Yeah, I think they're done at that point. It's hard to overcome 0-2, but we'll see. All right, history will be made on Thursday night in Kansas City. It will be the first NFL game on Prime Video that'll feature two powerhouses in the AFC, Chargers and the Chiefs. Durp, what can we expect from this matchup?
We can expect fireworks and points and points and more points and more points. The over-under for this game is like 54.5, and there's a reason for that, These are two of the best quarterbacks, two of the best teams right now, for real. And I think this is going to be like the first challenge that we're going to see for Mahomes without Tyreek Hill, given how good that Chargers defense is. This defense is like one of the best in the league, and for real, it looks like a team off of Madden. You got Asante Samuel Jr., you got Derwin James back there, then you got the pass rush is ridiculous. Herbert playing against them, against the Chiefs. He's 2-2, but he's got 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So he's kind of got their number.
Yeah.
But I think Mahomes is like 5-2 against the Chargers. So I think this one's going to come down to whoever touches the ball last for real, because as we know, Mahomes only needs 13 seconds to do it or whatever.
Yeah. Kevin, what are you looking for in this game?
I'm looking forward to see what Justin Herbert does against the Chargers. Against the Chiefs. And like you said, with Patrick Mahomes has down there. But as far as this matchup, I see it close. I honestly can see it coming down to. I honestly think it can come down to a field goal, or even go into overtime. But that's just me.
Okay. So Durp, your Cowboys, they'll host the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. Does your defense have enough to slow down that Cincy offense, and can your new quarterback keep pace with the Bengals?
We stand no chance. Like we'd have to have like a crazy defensive performance. Like Michael is going to need 4 or 5 sacks. Trayvon Diggs is going to need 2-3 picks. Like, and our offense would have to play damn near perfect. And I don't see either of them happening. Without Dak, I don't even know if we would have won this game. But without him, it's going to be close to impossible. We don't have the backups to make it happen. We don't have the depth to make it happen. We definitely don't have the coaching to make it happen. So I think we're going to get a Bengals team that's pissed off that they just lost to the Steelers, and I don't think it's going to be pretty for us at all.
Kevin?
If you want to know mine, I'll be honest with you, Durp. Before I found out about Dak's injury, I had you guys winning this game.
Same here.
Okay.
I had the Bengals going 0-2. I had Dallas coming off of a win, hyped up, ready to show the world, this is their year. Having the chance against the defending AFC champs, and putting their foot up their ass. Now that he's hurt, I don't think you guys can pull it off. I think it's going to be close. You obviously know the Cowboys better than I do, but I honestly think that if they just put Trayvon on Jamar Chase, if he can shut down keep Jamar Chase down, and you guys can stop mixing. You're gonna get you. I know it's a big talk of water thing. If you can, but I think Trayvon could. If they did 1-on-1, I think Trayvon could shut down Jamar Chase. I think he's that good. Mixon's a different animal. I don't know exactly you guys could put on him, but I think you have a chance. I think it's gonna be a nail biter. I wouldn't even be surprised to go to overtime, but I don't think you guys are going to blow it out.
Yeah. See, my whole thing with like putting Trayvon on Jamar Chase is that, okay, say by some chance he does take him out.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many other weapons. Even Hayden Hurst was looking good last week. They have so many weapons that it's like, okay, you took Jamar Chase out, but now this guy's going to get the ball, or this guy's going to get the ball, or this guy's going to get the ball. And like I said, Burrow may have threw 5 interceptions, but he's still that dude. He's still, he's still that guy. And
he is, but still, I mean, I'm not going to count you guys out. But like I said, I had you guys winning until Dak got hurt. So, I mean, it's still the same defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same defense. Out of all the shit I've been talking about our coaching staff, Dan Quinn, I love him. I'm very happy that we retained him. Very happy that we were able to get him to come back. He's the reason that this whole defense changed. Him and Micah coming in and being the stellar player that he is. Of course, if we win, I would be ecstatic. It would be great. I just don't see us having the facilities and able to pull it off.
It's true, but like I said, I got faith in you. You may not have faith in it, but I got faith in it. I have to have faith in it. You guys are my pick. You guys are my pick in my elimination pool this week.
Okay. I mean, I understand it, but we've seen this movie before, right? A couple years ago when Dak went down.
Yeah.
And like I said, we were getting beat by the Washington football team by like 40 points. So we've seen this movie before. Of course.
We'll give Remo a call, see if we can get him out of retirement.
See if we can come on out the booth. Yeah.
Picture
you heard what he said, right? With your guys' offense. He was like, man, this is the offense I've wanted my whole career.
Yeah.
So
well,
you might get him the bout.
Yeah, we just had to get his number back from Turpin.
There you go. We would love for you to email your thoughts on your team, game predictions, and tell us what you'd like to see more from us. You can reach us at Purple Huddle podcast@gmail.com. A special guest, thanks to our guest Durp for all of his insights. And you are welcome back at any time, definitely. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been the Purple Huddle Podcast. I'm Kevin for Brandon Simpson. And Durp, I'm Kevin Brown. Have a great day.